Joined here by Interim Big 12 Commissioner Chuck Neinas. And Chuck, unbelievable year. In less than a year, the Big 12 goes from being really on its deathbed to now being one of the top four conferences. Talk about this this transition this year.
Well, it's been very positive, obviously, and I think we have a good team, and I use that word advisedly because I think everybody's working together. And what we've done, we brought in two new members, as you know, TCU and West Virginia. And in combination with the 8 remaining members, everything is very progressive. It was very heartwarming to me to see the attitude of the presidents and the directors at the meeting we had in Kansas City late May and early June. That reminded me of my days of the Big 8, and we always talked about the Big 8 family atmosphere. And I think the Big 12 is on, with Bob Bowlesby at the helm, is going to steer that course, and everybody will continue to work together, and hopefully we'll start actually feeling better together. I think that's important, and that's one of the reasons, Chip, I think we should stay at 10. Let's get to know our new members, and when you have divisions, you have divisions, and that just doesn't mean competitively. And so I think the fact that we have 10 institutions working together is very positive.
Talk about that, because the perception of the Big 12 has always been that it was Texas and Oklahoma making all the decisions and everyone else just sort of had to go along with it. What is it like now in the room?
Well, I think you have to pay tribute to both Bill Powers at Texas, David Bourne at Oklahoma. When I came aboard, there were 3 contentious issues. What happened, those 2 presidents worked together to present a joint resolution to the remaining members of the board, and that was accepted unanimously and quickly. And ever since then, it's been working together and moving ahead. So you can't discount the status of UT and OU. They've been very successful athletically. But that doesn't mean the other members of the conference haven't also been successful athletically. I mean, there's nobody who's got a better record in basketball than Kansas. And, Baylor's year has been fantastic. So, I mean, everybody's got to work together. And as Bob Bowlesby said, everybody in the Big 12 conference has played in postseason football in recent years, and there's not many conferences that could say that. So it's got to be a joint effort. You work together, you're all stronger.
Bob Bowlesby was just saying he didn't know if he'd have 2 votes of the 10 right now to expand, but Notre Dame certainly has been a name out there. You even sent an email to ESPN wondering, what the value of adding Notre Dame would be. What is the status? Is Notre Dame the school that there does seem to be consensus to add, even if it's just the Olympic sports?
Well, I think that Bob Bowlesby and Jack Swarbrick have worked together in the past when Bob was at Stanford, because they've played home football a long time. Both private institutions, high academic standards. In answer to your question, I think there's obviously interest on the part of the Big 12, and I think there might be some interest in the part of Notre Dame. But Notre Dame has other issues they have to confront. They have an outstanding athletic director in Jack Swarbrick. I got to work with Jack in connection with our BCS work. He did a marvelous job, by the way. His legal training and background was very helpful in framing the questions so that the group of 12 could move forward in an orderly fashion. So in answer to your question, obviously there would be interest in Notre Dame if there was on the part of Notre Dame. Now, let me just say this. You would have to work it out. It wouldn't be strictly an open door policy. It would have to be something that would be satisfactory to both.
Would they have to, basically, could they come in the Olympic sports only, but in 5 years you would need to become a full member?
Oh, I don't know. That's for someone else. My watch will be over here in 2 weeks. I don't need to think about that one.
But everything's happened under your watch, Chuck. In terms of, there have been other names mentioned, Florida State, Georgia Tech, from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Are there other schools or criteria that the Big 12 would be looking for in terms of, Bob Bowlesby said it should be the hardest fraternity to get into. You have to bring some incredible, credentials to be a member of the fraternity. What would some of the credentials be?
Well, obviously, I think you can't be ignorant of both the institution itself and also what value would be added to the Big 12. That's important. As we have equal revenue sharing, you don't want to be greedy, but on the other hand, you want to make sure that if someone comes in, they bring value to offset the fact that you have to divide it with another share. I don't think people really understand the benefit of 10. We're the only major conference where you play everybody in football and home in basketball, men and women. And that has served the conference well. I know for a fact other conferences wish they could do that, but they can't because they got 12 or 14 members. I've had a couple of ADs from the SEC say to me, if you're going to expand, don't go beyond 12 because 14 is difficult to work for. So let's just be happy with what we got. You just mentioned earlier that a few months ago people were unsettled. Well, now we've got them together, and let's just keep working together, and the future will take care of itself.
Speaking of the future, the Tier 1 deal with ABC ESPN, which includes the proposed 13-year granting of rights, it's been a little bit slower going maybe than we thought. Is that because of the new technology, the potential for new media, and trying to, get the arms around that?
That's a good question. One of the things that I don't think I'm revealing any secrets here. We're talking about what we call a 3-year look-in between the conference and the partners so that we could evaluate the ever-changing technology. I saw Eric Schmidt, the chief executive officer of Google, on a business show, and they asked him about what was happening, and he said the only thing you have to do is go back 10 years and see what's happened, and then think what may happen in the next 10 years. I mean, I didn't know anything about email. But now I'm an email, and Twitter, Facebook, whatever you call it, I'm not one of those, but I mean, you can just see how much has happened. And so how can you forecast what is coming next? It's truly amazing. Some of your older listeners may remember the comic strip Dick Tracy, where he had this watch that was kind of a little television set. Everybody laughed at that time, but look what's happened.
When you look into what are the most pressing issues for the Big 12 in your mind right now?
That's a good question. I don't know that I have an immediate answer. I think it's just getting comfortable, as I say, working together, especially with the two new members who are both excited. Both of them sold out their season tickets on football, so that tells you something. So I think it's just getting comfortable with each other and just moving ahead.
And finally, with the Champions Bowl, what do you think that is going to look like? Is it going to be in one site? Do you think that it would rotate between the Cotton Bowl and the semifinals of the 5 bowls that ultimately form this national championship series? What's the Champions Bowl going to look like?
I think it'll probably be one location because we've been told that from a marketing standpoint, it's good to have stability if you're going to build the bowl game. And in 10 years, I think that they'll be talking about the Champions Bowl first and Rose Bowl second. And people need to know the importance of prime time on New Year's night. And then matching the champions of the two highest rated conferences over the last decade or plus, that's significant. And I think people are going to be surprised at the success of that game right from day one.
And you all set the standard on this. You said it was going to be New Year's night, and now you have to find a TV partner that will come in and air it on New Year's night.
We have significant interest.
I would imagine. Obviously, the speculation is Cowboy Stadium, the Cotton Bowl staff running the Champions Bowl. It sounds like the SEC would be agreeable to that, to have another footprint in Texas. We're hot recruiting. Can you say if that's the way it's looking right now?
No, I can't, because we haven't even issued the RFPs yet. But I should tell you that our athletic directors are comfortable going to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. And don't forget Houston or San Antonio. And then Atlanta's already said they want in. So we anticipate there will be, should we say, spirited bidding for that game.
When you look back on your time, because it's coming to an end, as you said, as soon as Bowlesby gets back from the Olympics, I guess you finally get a vacation with your wife. What are you gonna reflect back on and think of most?
Well, the one thing that obviously I will think of is the fact that we got everybody working together. But the one thing maybe I'll leave and feel best about is I got involved with Mike Slive when we did the Champions Bowl, because that is solidified the Big 12 as one of the major conferences in the country. There is never any question anymore. They're not talking about whether the Big 12 is solid anymore. They're just saying, well, there's the Big 12, the SEC, the Pac-12, and the Big 10. And the Big 12 is right there with them. And the Champions Bowl has helped put the stamp of approval nationwide.
Well, he's a cross between Chuck Yeager and Chuck Norris, but he did save the Big 12. Thanks so much, Chuck Neinas.
Thanks, Chip.